Skies, and then tomorrow, south winds picking up at 20 to 35 with a high in the middle 60s. That's your weather update from the Storm Center at Kettleland TV. I'm Brian Karsten.
Hey, good morning and welcome to the Greg Belfrage Show. It's great to have you along. Just getting ready to get going. Welcome aboard.
The Doctor of Discernment is on the air.
I love the Greg Belfrage Show.
I've been listening to you for years, Greg. Thanks for all you do and keeping us informed.
You sound a little taller on radio. Dispensing a daily dose of common sense. No prescription required.
Americans love a winner and will not tolerate a loser. Americans play to win all the time. I don't believe in the no-win scenario.
This is
Good morning, my friend. The marketplace of ideas is open. Welcome to the Greg Belfrage Show on this October 15th today. Great to have you along this Tuesday morning. Big stories. We've got North Carolina authorities saying they arrested a man yesterday. He was making threats against FEMA workers that were responding to Hurricane Helene. So this is a 44-year-old man who is under arrest. He was arrested on Saturday, charged with going armed to the terror of the public. I didn't know that there was such a charge. I mean, I understand it. I understand why they arrested him, but going armed to the terror of the public, according to the sheriff's office. So this man was armed with a rifle and a handgun at the time of his arrest, then released on about $10,000 bond. So he made, apparently authorities received a call Saturday morning alerting them that this guy was armed and had made the comment about possibly harming FEMA employees after the, aftermath of Hurricane Helene and then Hurricane Milton. It's just been incredible what we've seen. So authorities reacted. The initial report said there was a truckload of militia that was involved. That was not true. I saw some of these stories trending around and yesterday, and I'm like, yeah, let's wait and see. Let's wait and see. So again, the sheriff's office said that was false, that this guy acted alone. And so FEMA was, there were concerns about this. And so FEMA was, understandably, folks were pulling the reins while they were trying to figure out what the threat was to FEMA employees, but it was over fairly quickly. So this guy was arrested on Saturday. 44-year-old William Jacob Parsons, going armed to the terror of the public. That is just I've never heard that charge before. That doesn't mean anything. There's a lot of charges I've never heard before. So they received the call, picked him up, and it's, again, he's been released on bond. He was armed with a handgun and a rifle, and he denied threatening federal responders. He said he was supporting the victims and helping with loading and unloading of water, food, clothing, and other necessities for the victims. Why would that necessitate being armed with a handgun and a rifle? I think there are a lot of people that are doing that are trying to help without being armed. So the message initially had said, and this is why there was some confusion, the National Guard troops then had encountered armed militia saying that they were out hunting FEMA. So that was not true. Those reports were incorrect. So that's a big story this morning. Also, Donald Trump, there is a lot of news on polls, and I'll do a segment later this morning. I'm going to run down a lot of the polls for you. And for those of you who appreciate the polls, those of you who don't, we'll just have to, with my apologies. The because it's a bit much. There's a story at Fox News this morning about reservations for an election week getaway. This is a lodge in upstate New York. It's offered a special $24 a night deal for the week of the presidential election, and the offer sold out in seconds. So the area is like completely unplugged. You're away from all of this. So my apologies for those who are feeling that way. Believe me, I understand it. So the Hill's got a story this morning that Donald Trump has a slight edge over Vice President Harris with the early voters in battleground states. This is a Harvard CAPS Harris poll. And again, the margins are close. In almost every place you look, they're close. They're within 3%. I've told you before, 3%, that's a margin of error. So in other words, and are the polls capturing all of there are numerous stories, or have been, over the, about the difficulties that pollsters face. I just don't know how relevant these things continue to be. But there are a lot of them. There are a lot of them that are out there this morning. And I'll touch on those later in the program. Also, the publisher of Kamala Harris' book responding to allegations of plagiarism that the journalist who has accused Harris of plagiarizing a book that she wrote in 2009 is saying now her publisher is in crisis mode and trying damage control. So Christopher Rufo highlighted on Monday at least a dozen portions of Smart on Crime that appear to have shown a lot of similarities to Wikipedia entries and reports. And Smart on Crime's publishing company also accidentally revealed its strategy to respond to the debacle to Rufo on Monday night. And he's sharing that. There's a piece this morning at the Washington Examiner going through all of this. And the Rufo was tagged on this, and the comment was, "Hey, Sarah, per Lauren Hoffman." Okay, now she's the executive director of marketing and publicity. Per Lauren Hoffman, please do not respond or comment on any inquiries regarding Smart on Crime, and please continue to forward them directly to me. So don't respond to any. And it says, really appreciate your help on this. It is a very sensitive topic. So there's all kinds of, and Rufo shows, okay, here's the section, and then here's another section elsewhere, and you can see that it was clearly copied, very clearly, just paragraphs that are identical. So Kamala Harris has got a facing these, and the publisher facing plagiarism allegations that are out there. Also, former Bill Clinton is out, and he is campaigning on behalf of Kamala Harris. And you might not know that when you heard Clinton talking about, he was campaigning in Georgia. And he said, you had a case in Georgia not very long ago, didn't you? They made an ad about it. A young woman who had been killed by an immigrant. Yeah, well, if they'd all been properly vetted, that probably wouldn't have happened. And many are hearing that. It's like, okay, you're there on behalf of Kamala Harris. You're saying the government didn't properly vet this this person. I don't know. The Kamala Harris campaign may be saying, "Hey, Mr. President, yeah, we changed our mind. we don't, we don't want you. We don't want you out there anymore." And then Clinton also went on. He said America isn't having enough babies to keep our populations up. So we need immigrants that have been vetted to do work. There wouldn't be a problem, he said. And then, as Democrats do, it's Donald Trump's fault that we didn't have a border bill last year. That was all, the blame for that all falls on Donald Trump, even though he was not president at the time. And, that's what Trump was saying, but just amazing. They cannot let go of that. Also, Vice President Kamala Harris in trouble with black men. This has been, and you likely have heard this because there's been a lot of news about black men, and even though Barack Obama out there trying to appeal to black men to vote for Kamala Harris. And so this is a story from ABC News. Harris announces a new plan to empower black men as she tries to energize them to vote for her. So now she's out there yesterday talking about she announced a plan to give black men more economic opportunities and other chances to thrive because she's in trouble with black men. So Harris has already said she supports legalizing marijuana, and her plan calls for working to ensure that black men have opportunities to participate as a national cannabis industry takes shape. Oh, that'll be great for the country. She's also calling for better regulating cryptocurrency to protect black men and others who invest in digital assets. So she's calling it her opportunity agenda for black men, trying to encourage black men then to vote for Kamala Harris. Again, based on polling, is that going to work? I don't know. Other stories. This is from Fox News this morning, and this is Representative Luna, Anna Paulina Luna of Florida. And she said she wasn't expecting a call late last week from the president, but she got one. And she represents Florida. And as we've talked at length about the hurricanes, and both Hurricane Helene and Hurricane Milton, specifically Hurricane Milton, which tore through Florida. And Luna says she was surprised that the president had called. She said, I did not expect that. So I talked to him on the phone for about 10 minutes. First thing that he asked me was, what did I need for my constituents? And how did I fare with the storm? And then we moved forward into talking about the issues that we're having with FEMA, she said. And she said she really appreciated it. She said, I have obviously been very critical of President Biden in the past, but I will say that him stepping in and taking control of the situation to assist for the right reasons was very honestly kind of shocking for me. She said, obviously, we're still going to be holding FEMA accountable, but as far as I'm seeing, FEMA has been very helpful. I've been in direct communication with them. They're absolutely going to assist because President Biden has told them to do so, she said. And she was asked then about, she went a little bit further. She said, the one thing I really want to hammer home, FEMA getting debris cleared and really not holding the cities accountable for not being able to move debris in time. So we sorted that out, she said. And Luna said that Biden agreed with her that FEMA's $750 upfront payment was inadequate. And the president said it was a bunch of malarkey, which is 100% true, that $750 was not enough. So and it's pretty clear. I think there have been a lot of folks who have been trying to make it clear that that would just be a starter, and that there will be more money to come. I think even South Dakota Congressman Dusty Johnson has talked about that this week. Also, you remember the two men who were shot at the Donald Trump rally in Pennsylvania and survived? Remember, there was one man who was killed, the firefighter. But now the two men who were injured that day, 74-year-old Jim Copenhaver, 57-year-old David Dutch, told NBC News yesterday they were so glad to be at the rally and sitting up in the bleachers behind Trump. And both of the men said they believe the Secret Service and law enforcement officials were negligent in undertaking their duty to protect not only Trump, but as well as other folks, innocent civilians who were harmed. And Dutch said, I believe there was 100% negligence on the Secret Service, probably everybody involved in setting that security, down to interdepartment communications. The negligence was vast. It was terrible, he said. Copenhaver agreed. I'm sure there was negligence. It wouldn't have happened had it been secure. They were asked, do you believe the Secret Service failed you and Trump? Big time, Dutch said. The whole security setup was poor. Copenhaver said he didn't realize what was happening until he saw part of his sleeve get blown away. I turned around to my friend and I said, I think I was shot. And that's when I got the second one. And then I went down, he said. He had collapsed onto the bleachers. He couldn't stand up. And both of these men have got ongoing health problems as a result of this. Copenhaver said he lost 30 pounds, now has to walk with a cane, pain in his stomach. Dutch said he still needs help tending to his bullet wound. He lost 25 pounds, can't drive or lift more than 10 pounds. So they're sharing their stories. I never thought I'd be in this position, he says. I was usually the other guy helping people out. It's a struggle every day. Wow. Incredible to hear these guys sharing their story. Coming up a little bit later this morning, there's an excellent South Dakota voter guide that's been published by South Dakota News Watch. And it's written by Stu Whitney. And it's a pretty great piece. And I want to walk through this a little bit this morning. We'll do this late in the program coming up today. The South Dakota Voter Guide, because there are a number of issues and amendments. So you've got Amendment G on abortion, Amendment H, which is the open primaries. Their Amendment F is on Medicaid and work requirements. And there's more. So this is a really excellent piece. If you're a follower of mine on Facebook, I posted this for you this morning so that you can take a look at it. Because I think what Stu Whitney has done is a pretty good job at presenting both sides, or multiple sides in some cases, multiple sides on some of these issues in a very brief kind of, explanation. And it's really, I found it incredibly helpful, and I hope you do as well. So this is something that you're going to want to take now with early voting already underway. Some folks, and I'm hearing from some who have said they've already voted. So for some, it's already too late. But if you've not yet voted and maybe you're struggling a little bit with some of these issues, I think he lays it out in a way at South Dakota News Watch that is really kind of helpful. It's the South Dakota Voter Guide, and I will run through some of that in more detail coming up this morning. And then, I mentioned to you all, earlier this morning, the Fox News has got a story about the Urban Cowboy Lodge in upstate New York. They had a $24 a night deal for the week of the 2024 presidential election, and the offer sold out in seconds. People who just during the week of the election want to be away from it all. And I'm like, I understand that feeling. I thought some of you might as well. So we'll talk about that also coming up this morning. Thanks so much for starting your day with the Greg Belfrage Show at 626. Clear skies and 29 currently at Kello. This hour of the Greg Belfrage Show brought to you by the Window Shop of Mitchell, offering custom windows starting at $99 a month.
528 Kello News Talk 1320 107.9.
Okay.
Brought to you by Tires. See in-store details about how to get rebates from major tire manufacturers. 2 Sioux Falls locations to serve you.
Living with less pain means living at your best.
Coming up, we'll take a look at stories that are trending this morning.
Avera Orthopedics keeps you moving. With total joint replacements for pain you don't have to live with it. Find relief with the region's largest orthopedic physician team of specialized surgeons, so you can keep moving forward. Avera, moving health forward. Learn more at avera.org/total joint.
Hey, are you feeling the
And
impact?
man, there are a lot of polls. You go to Newsmax.com this morning. Oh, it's like poll. Yeah, and you look at the stories. They got stories listed. Poll. Another story. Poll. There are a lot of polls, brother.
594-0075. That's 833-594-0075. On the web, it's LoneStarTransfer1word.com.
If you're living with dry age-related macular degeneration or dry AMD, you may be at risk for developing geographic atrophy or GA. GA can be unpredictable and progress rapidly, leading to irreversible vision loss. Now there's something you can do to
Slow it down.
Izervay is proven to slow GA progression. Izervay or avacincaptad pegol is a prescription eye injection used to treat GA. Don't take it if you have an infection or active swelling in or around your eye. Izervay can cause eye infection, retinal detachment, or increased risk of wet AMD. Izervay may temporarily increase eye pressure. Your vision may be impaired after an eye injection or exam. Don't delay. Ask your doctor about Izervay today. Visit Izervay.com. That's IZERVAY.com.
Mostly sunny skies today, high temperature 57 with an east wind at 5 to 10 miles per hour. For tonight, a light south breeze, a low near 33. Tomorrow, mostly sunny, high 64. South winds will pick up at 20 to 35. Temperatures returning to the low 70s on Thursday. From the Storm Center at Kettleland TV.
And in Sioux Falls at 629, clear skies, 29 currently at Kello. Joe Bowman is in the Kello.com News Center. Coming up here in minutes, Attorney General Marty Jackley, along with 2 other AGs, will be arguing against a proposed federal rule that treats DACA recipients as legal citizens. Also, Congressman Dusty Johnson says everything is on hold, awaiting the outcome of the November election. So details on those stories and more coming up for you here in just a few moments. Hey, I hope you can join us in Community Blood Bank at the Outback Steakhouse coming up this Friday. Community Blood Bank will be there from 11 to 4 this Friday. Blood donors receive a free steak meal certificate and more. We'll be talking to Ken Versteeg of Community Blood Bank about that coming up later this week.
Fox News, I'm Chris Foster. We're 3 weeks from Election Day. Former President Trump and Vice President Harris both campaigning in Pennsylvania.
We have the worst president and the worst vice president in the history of our country by far. And let me tell you, she is worse than him.
He is only focused on himself. Well, folks, it's time to turn the page.
President Biden speaks at a Democratic Party dinner in Philadelphia tonight. Iran's nuclear and oil facilities are reportedly not on the strike list for Israel's military.
According to the Washington Post, Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu has told the U.S. government he's willing to restrict strikes to military targets. Netanyahu's office has released a statement saying it's listening to American advice, but will make its own decisions.
Fox's Jonathan Savage, strikes will be retaliation for Iran launching missiles at Israel. America's listening to Fox News.
News brought to you by Sioux Falls Implant and Sedation Dentistry. They fix your teeth while you sleep.
Kello News Time, 6:31. I'm Joe Bowman in the Kello.com News Center. Attorney General Marty Jackley, along with 2 other AGs, will be arguing against a proposed federal rule that treats DACA recipients as legal citizens. The proposed rule would treat deferred action for childhood arrivals as legal citizens eligible for health insurance coverage. Jackley says providing the coverage would come at the expense of struggling working citizens. The case will be heard in North Dakota federal court today. There's a lot of unfinished business in Washington, and it's going to stay that way at least until Election Day. Congressman Dusty Johnson says everything is on hold, awaiting the outcome.
We don't know for sure who's going to be in the White House, who's going to be in control of the House, or who's going to be in control of the Senate. I think right now, for each of those, Republicans are a little bit more likely to win than not, but still a lot of uncertainty.
Democrat Cheryl Johnson is challenging incumbent Dusty Johnson for South Dakota's only seat in the House of Representatives. South Dakota's crop outlook is not looking good. According to South Dakota Farmers Union Vice President Jeff Kipley, corn is going for about $3.50 per bushel, and soy is at about $9.25. He says there's an imbalance in supply and demand, where there's more grain than is needed at the moment. The Argus Leader will not try to replace a weekly newspaper as the official news outlet for legal notices in Sioux Falls. Parent company Gannett and the Argus Leader announced in a statement on Monday they are discontinuing their legal action against the city of Sioux Falls. Citing cost savings and local ownership, Sioux Falls City Council back in June switched from the Argus Leader to the Dakota Scout as the official news outlet for legal notices. The Dakota Scout was founded in 2022 by 2 former Argus Leader reporters. The city's agreement with the Dakota Scout runs through June 30th of next year. And in college football, South Dakota State and North Dakota State stay at 1-2 heading into Saturday's primetime national TV matchup. Kickoff of the Jackrabbits game at North Dakota State is set for Saturday at 7 p.m. and will air live on ESPN2. From the Kello.com News Center, I'm Joe Bowman.
The news never stops. Kello News Talk 1320 107.9.
Mostly sunny skies today and still below the averages for this time of year. High temperature 57, easterly wind at 5 to 10. For tonight's low 33, mostly clear skies. And then tomorrow, south winds picking up at 20 to 35 with a high in the middle 60s. That's your weather update from the Storm Center at Kettleland TV. I'm Brian Karstens.
The Sioux Empire's most trusted name in news. Kello News Talk 1320 107.9 and Kello.com.
One of science fiction's biggest undelivered promises was a robot in every home. Not some flimsy roll-around camera-equipped security system, but a real walking upright with 2 arms, 2 legs, 2 hands, and 2 feet. It's here, and guess who's behind it? I'm Ken Commando for Dell. For today's best deals on computer and office hardware, visit Dell.com/deals. Okay, the videos of the robots walking out on stage, pouring tea and carrying the groceries are not AI generated. It's real. Who's bringing these things into our homes? Elon Musk. Naturally, Tesla's Optimus robots are for household use. They're 5'8" and weigh 125 pounds. They look like the ones in the film I, Robot. Optimus will cost $30,000. And as Musk said, the capabilities of AI are increasing by a factor of 10 every 6 to 9 months. So this robot will improve every day. But would you trust one in your home? Enter to win a brand new iPhone 16 Pro right now. valued at $1,000. Go to winfromkim.com. This season, get premium tech that inspires joy from Dell Technologies. Bring projects to life with the XPS 16. It delivers supercharged processing for enhanced productivity and freedom to express yourself. Performance-class Dell PCs with Intel Core Ultra processors deliver a dedicated engine to help accelerate AI. Enjoy free shipping, Dell rewards, and expert support. When you get a Dell PC with AI, it gives back. Shop now at dell.com/deals.
Hey, have you heard about The Current? It's this amazing free tech newsletter that keeps you in the loop about everything AI, making money, and insider tips to get ahead at work and life. Everything is tech now. I can't afford to fall behind, and neither can you. In just 5 minutes a day, that's it. The Current makes it so easy to stay ahead without feeling overwhelmed. Join 500,000 people at getthecurrent.com. It's free. Don't be left behind. That's getthecurrent.com. Sign up now. GetTheCurrent.com.
The Kim Commando Show, live Saturday mornings at 9. Kello News Talk 1320 107.9.
The Kello Hotline is brought to you by Tires, your Give You More tire and automotive store. Financing programs available. 2 Sioux Falls locations to serve you.
In today's fast-paced business world, building relationships is key. At Lawrence & Schiller, it's about pushing boundaries and problem solving. Tired of settling for subpar results? Get to know us at l-s.com, where solutions are extraordinary.
Bring charm from the outdoors into your home with Renewal by Andersen picture and combination windows. Optimizing a beautiful view and light in a bedroom, kitchen, or living room from ABC Seamless of Sioux Falls. Call 605-646-2667 today.
Well, that's ABC Seamless. Farmers and builders, listen up. Purple Wave Auction is shaking up equipment sales. We're the no-reserve online auction powerhouse where every bid could be a win. From combines to cranes, tractors to excavators, if it has wheels or tracks, we've got it at purplewave.com. Purple Wave is your ticket to upgrade your operation. Join our nationwide buying community today and see why no reserve means maximum opportunity.
Big transmission problem or minor repair? It takes an expert to know. Hi, this is Greg Belfrage for the experts at Jim's National Transmission, downtown at 4th and Weber. When having transmission problems, it's always best to go to a specialist. Most auto repair places will simply replace your transmission, costing you 50 to 70% more than if you went to a transmission specialist. Do yourself a favor and save yourself time and money by taking your vehicle to the pros at Jim's Transmission. They know all the ins and outs of automatic transmission diagnosis. Jim's Transmission, the transmission-only specialist, where transmissions are all they do. Check out their website at jimsautotrans.com for coupons and specials. You'll find their phone number there too, jimsautotrans.com. That's jimsautotrans.com. Jim's National Transmission, downtown at 4th and Weber. Hi, this is Greg Belfrage. Please join Community Blood Bank and Outback Steakhouse Friday, October 18th from 11 to 4. Blood donors receive a free steak meal certificate, a special t-shirt, and a logoed flashlight. Walk-ins are welcome, but those with appointments receive priority. You can schedule a donation by calling 605-331-3222. Health Kello, beef up the blood supply. Friday, 6:39, clear skies, 29 currently at Kello. Good morning, my friend. Thanks so much for starting your day with the Greg Belfrage Show. This hour brought to you by the Window Shop of Mitchell, offering custom windows starting at $99 a month.
What's trending now?
Add them on Facebook.
Let the tweeting begin. The hashtag does that. News and views from Belf's News Gallery.
Well, FEMA is saying that they made some operational adjustments. There were reports of threats towards the agency's relief efforts that have been made in recent days. There's just a lot of craziness going on in the wake of these hurricanes. So you got FEMA there responding to the aftermath of both Hurricane Helene and Hurricane Milton. as well as other disasters then impacting a number of states. Hurricane Helene impacted 5 states overall. So there were reports over the weekend, and a man was arrested also on Saturday. And there were reports that were suggesting that there were groups that were out and confronting FEMA. And so I think we're just really beginning to understand this. One man was arrested, and the reports have been exaggerated. They're saying no, that's FEMA workers are now, are safe, and they're free to go back in and resume the recovery operations that we have been watching. Also, and this story, trending stories tend to be sometimes a little bit behind actual events and new events. And so the man with the shotgun and a loaded handgun and a high-capacity magazine going to a Trump rally was arrested. I talked about this story at length yesterday, and it's still trending this morning. All right, news stories that are out there. Kamala Harris will be sitting down with Bret Baier of Fox News. This will be Kamala Harris' first interview with Fox News. It'll be coming up tomorrow in Pennsylvania. And I'm just, how curious are you about this? It'll be, I will be intrigued to see what happens. Because Bret Baier, I have a lot of respect for Bret Baier. He's one of the Fox News anchors that I really appreciate. And because he, I think more than most, has the ability to be able to keep his own feelings out of it a lot of times. And he can be, whether it's Democrat, Republican, so on, he can keep his feelings out of it and ask some tough questions. So it's going to be interesting to see how Kamala Harris fares with the Bret Baier interview. I don't know that he's going to be accepting the word salad responses that she is, famous for dishing up. Also, the owner of Time magazine criticizing Kamala Harris because she's refusing to sit down for an interview with Time. And so Mark Benioff said, despite multiple requests, Time has not been granted an interview with Kamala Harris, unlike every other presidential candidate. We believe in transparency, publish each interview in full. Why isn't the vice president engaging with the public on the same level? So Harris has received a lot of criticism for, avoiding the media and avoiding interviews. And, she's out there. And she recently, trying to get out ahead of all those complaints, she has been doing some really, really, just hard hitting interviews on The View, Howard Stern, Stephen Colbert, some of that kind of stuff. Also trending this morning, Donald Trump pledged over the weekend to hire an extra 10,000 Border Patrol agents should he be reelected. And he has been very critical of Kamala Harris on the issue of immigration. So Trump said he would ask Congress to fund a 10% pay raise for Border Patrol agents and a $10,000 retention and signing bonus, he said. And he was flanked on stage by leaders of the Border Patrol Union. They have endorsed Trump. In fact, that story is still trending. That's next in my stack of stuff here. Trump said this will ensure that we can hire and keep the Border Patrol agents that we need. So I just get sick to my stomach. Honestly, Trump helped kill a bipartisan border security bill. Bipartisan. You get three, mushy Republicans who sign on board, and suddenly it's bipartisan. That to me is not bipartisan. I don't think Washington understands the word of bipartisan. It really don't. The media surely doesn't. So the National Border Patrol Council endorsing Donald Trump, I've shared that story with you. It was big news yesterday. Also, some House Democrats are showing hesitation about certifying the election in the event that Donald Trump wins. So a small group, according to Axios, these Democrats, according to Vox, they say these Democrats are in a complicated situation, caught between their distrust of Trump and their steadfast denunciations of any electoral challenge since the Capitol Hill event of January 6th in 2021. So Jamie Raskin is out there. Why am I surprised? Why am I surprised by Jamie Raskin leading that crowd? That guy is absolutely lost. Now, that story is trending this morning. Also, one final Donald Trump story here this morning. Trump is not holding back on, there's a new biopic called The Apprentice that came out, which stars Sebastian Stan as Trump. And it's about Trump and his career in real estate then in the 70s and 80s and so on. And Trump clearly doesn't like it. So Trump is out on social media. And I don't know that Trump does himself any favors, but Trump is Trump, right? I mean, I think Trump bringing attention to the movie, because the movie's bombing. It's not doing well. More on that in a moment. So Trump says a fake and classless movie about me called The Apprentice. And he said, do they even have the right to use that name without approval? Will hopefully bomb. It's a cheap, defamatory, and politically disgusting hatchet job put out right before the 2024 presidential election to try to hurt the greatest political movement in the history of our country, Make America Great Again, Trump said on Truth Social. So the movie is bombing. It's not doing well. JustTheNews.com has got this story this morning. It opened to $1.6 million over the weekend. Okay, so now you're hearing that 1.6 million. Well, yeah, but it's 1.6 million, right? So what that translates to is less than 10 people in each showing at the I think it was 1,750 theaters that showed it. So you've got at the 1,750 theaters that showed it, you had 10 people in each showing. That's hardly a blockbuster. Also, an Austrian professor who's known for exposing plagiarism says he has identified multiple instances of lifted material by Vice President Kamala Harris in a book that she co-authored on crime. So this is Dr. Stefan Weber, and he has previously he's revealed academic misconduct by German and Austrian politicians. So he's got a reputation as a plagiarism hunter. And he found over a dozen instances of lifted material in the book. And this is coming from Christopher Rufo at the Manhattan Institute. So the book was published in 2009. They were lifted from several sources, including an NBC News report, press release, In fact, press releases from several places. And Rufo said, we have independently confirmed multiple violations, which are, comparable in severity to the plagiarism found in former Harvard President Claudine Gay's doctoral thesis. So we may be hearing more of that story. That's just getting out there. It's trending this morning. Other news that's trending, Lily Ledbetter has passed away at the age of 86. Lily Ledbetter was a former Alabama factory manager, and she filed a lawsuit against her employer, and it made her an icon of the equal pay movement and led then to landmark legislation regarding wage discrimination between men and women. So Ledbetter discovered that she was earning a lot less than the men that she was working with, doing the very same job at Goodyear Tire and Rubber Company at the plant that she worked in Alabama, and it led to her lawsuit, ultimately failed because no fault of hers though, the Supreme Court ruled that she had filed her complaint too late. She had filed the complaint as soon as she had learned. As soon as she discovered it, she filed the complaint. But the Supreme Court said based on law, it was too late. And so there have been numerous changes to law to correct that, if that is discovered then at a later time, so on, so that women who are fighting for equal pay have a more, solid footing to be able to make those claims. So Lily Ledbetter has died at the age of 86. Also trending this morning, a New Jersey transit train operator died yesterday. This is after a Riverline train struck a tree that had fallen onto the tracks. And according to according to New Jersey Transit, the train was traveling south from Trenton when it hit the tree. 42 people were hurt at the time of the crash. 23 of those were folks with non-life-threatening injuries, but a number of people were hurt. 19 passengers on the train were transported to the hospital by bus. And again, the train operator himself was killed. Also, jury selection began yesterday in the trial of Richard Allen. This is in Allen County, Indiana. And Richard Allen facing charges after the bodies of Abby Williams and another were found. And he's accused of killing the two teenagers and is about to stand trial for it. So jury selection has been underway. 14 jurors were selected yesterday. Those of you who follow me on Facebook, I shared this story yesterday. Bath and Body Works has apologized for offending customers. They ignited a firestorm of customer complaints with a Christmas candle that was released. And you look at the packaging and folks thought it resembled the KKK. What it was a snowflake. And you take a look at it, when you see it, you have, I think, with the snowflake and the way it's cut, it looks like something with two eyes. See, my immediate, when I first saw it, when I looked at the entire package, I saw aliens. Looked like an alien head, teardrop shaped head. And then you look at it again where, you have an initial reaction And then you go, oh, that's a snowflake. I can see the snowflake. As you look down and clearly a snowflake. Well, Bath and Body Works just absolutely caved after the criticism. Looks like the KKK. The candle now is being called the Clandle because it looks like the KKK, and it's honestly, my friends, much ado about nothing. It's people on social media doing what they always do, overreacting, knee-jerk reactions. In other words, waste of time. Also, NASA is launching the Europa Clipper spacecraft set to explore Jupiter's moon Europa. And it will assess Europa's conditions, such as its ocean beneath the crust of the planet. And they want to try to determine whether or not Europa can support life. So the spacecraft is the largest built by NASA to study another planet. Will launch aboard a SpaceX Falcon Heavy rocket. So it's ready to set sail for Jupiter and Europa, but it's going to take some time to get there. And so don't be checking your watch, waiting to find out. It's going to take some years to actually traverse there. And that's a look at the stories trending this morning in Belf's News Gallery. Thanks so much for starting your day with the Greg Belfrage Show. This hour brought to you by the Window Shop of Mitchell, offering custom windows starting at $99 a month, currently clear, and $29 at Callao.
You need to know. Depend on Callao.
Thanks for starting your day with the Greg Belfrage Show. I appreciate having you here, my friend. Please come back at 9:30 for the fourth hour, and I hope to see you then. Otherwise, so long until tomorrow. Take care.